Hey guys, it's Archon, and by popular demand from the viewers over at twitch.tv, I've decided to make a budget CM wizard set. So this is where we build a full set of gear for a critical mass wizard using a very small budget, and then we're going to see if we can actually handle MP10. And the budget we're going to set today is 1 million, which might seem kind of low, but you can actually get a lot for 1 million gold right now. And I want to show you guys that even if you don't have much money, you just got to 60, you can still get crit mass working pretty much right away. We've built dozens of sets on the live stream before, and we always give them away to viewers, and so I have a pretty good idea of what we're looking for here. I'm just going to go through and show you guys what stats I prioritize and how I look for gear if I don't have a big budget. And I think you might be surprised what we can get. So I like to start out with the weapon. I think for your weapon, you want to set about 20% of your budget as the max buyout. So because we have a 1 million budget, I'm going to set 200,000 here. Now, if you had a budget of like 20 million or more, I would say go with a Chantoto set because that's the best way to get attack speed, and the attack speed is really the hardest thing to get when you're on a budget. But since we don't have much money, a cheap way to get attack speed is going to be a dagger with attack speed. Now, there's a few other things you can get on your weapon, but the weapon speed is definitely the most important because the higher your weapon speed, the less attack speed you're going to need on the rest of your gear to get to that 2 attack per second mark. I think 2 attack per second is bare minimum, and if you can get to 2.3, the build really starts to work well. So we're going to put attack speed on there, and then I like to get life on hit just because it's cheaper to get it on the weapon than on the amulet or rings, in my opinion. You can also get it on the Stormcrow if you're running low, but of course you're going to have to forego crit if you're on a budget. And then we can do has sockets or crit hit damage. Now, of course, this isn't a must to get the build working, but it's hard to get crit damage somewhere else when you're on a budget because you're going to want to get crit chance and attack speed on pretty much everything already, and trifectas can be expensive. So we're going to look at, actually we're going to want at least 9% attack speed. So I'm going to put that in there. We only have one page here. See if we can get one with some good DPS. We got 738 DPS, 65 crit chance, only 536 life per hit. But it looks like that's going to be the one we're going to have to go with because we're not seeing much else here. That only has 540. So we're going to take this first one here. 738 damage is a little low. Strength and dex, but whatever. We get 9% attack speed, gives us the attack speed we need on the weapon. 65 crit hit damage will help us out. We're actually going to do one quick search for has sockets. See if we can find anything better. Actually, it looks like for 50,000, we might be able to get something better here. Yeah. That socket is going to be just as good, if not better, than that 65% crit chance. We won't be able to put a great gem in there, but you can always upgrade that later. So we get a little bit of intelligence here, but just not enough life on hit. So I think we're going to take this first one. 833 damage is pretty good for only a 50,000 gold weapon. So we'll take that dagger. The next thing we're going to do is an offhand. For an offhand, I usually set about 10% of my budget as the max buyout. So we're going to look for a source, of course. And on your offhand, there's a few things you need. You definitely need APOC at this point. If you had attack power or arcane power on crit on your weapon, then you don't need it on your offhand. But I think you need at least 20 of it personally. And so since we don't have it on our dagger, we're going to make sure we get it on our offhand and our helm. I'm going to go ahead and search for 10 because you can find it with 10, so we might as well get it. And then crit chance. Definitely need a lot of crit hit chance on your offhand. And pretty much anywhere you can get crit chance, you're going to try to get a lot of it because you need a ton of crit for the crit mass build to work well. And then the third one is average damage. And average damage on an offhand is just as important as average damage on a weapon. A lot of people don't realize that. If you have 2 attacks per second, then, for example, 228 average damage is going to be like adding 456 damage to your weapon. So it's a huge boost. Average damage is really important. A lot of people don't realize how important it really can be. So sometimes we get some Oculuses up here, something like that. We don't really have that right now. We have this one with 110 intelligence, or we can get one with bite. This one has 230 bites. We might go ahead and take that. It's only 50,000 too, and that will really help us out in getting that bite. It says 7% life and 55, but I just don't see anything comparing to that 230 vitality. Down here, yeah, I just don't think it's worth it. We lose a little bit of damage. We're losing about 18 damage to get some int and bite, and we're still not getting as many total stat points overall. And we're only getting, oh, we did get 8.5 crit there, so we're going to go ahead and get that. 50,000 sounds like a steal to me. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to get is the jewelry. Jewelry, I'm also going to set 10% of my budget aside. Although we've saved a little bit on the weapon and offhand so far, I might do a 15% for the amulet, and then 10% for each weapon. So that's going to be 150,000 on our amulet. An amulet can have crit chance and attack speed, so we're putting crit chance and attack speed on it. You really can't get enough of crit chance and attack speed. And you can see we don't get a whole lot of choices with high crit chance and attack speed, but we really need it, so we're going to keep it on there. Now, if you can get later on a Witching Hour, Lacunis, maybe a Tall Rashas or a Mempos, those all have attack speed in slots that normally can't roll it. And so you don't need to get attack speed on every piece if you can get those. But starting out, you're not going to be able to afford some of those legendaries with attack speed, and so you want to get it on your jewelry, your weapon, your gloves, anywhere you can. So here we have some average damage with a lot of crit chance. That one actually is looking really good. Here we get some extra armor, which is undervalued for sure. Um, let's see, a little bit of minimum damage and 8.5 crit. That first one was looking really good. What do we have? 9 to 18 damage. It's not bad at all. It's like an extra 18. I think it's 18 average damage. We get 18 average damage in a socket, but we lose that one crit chance. 25 all resist. It's not bad, but 7 and 8. Here we can get 7 and 8.5 and 328 armor. And 328 armor is actually going to do more for us than 25 all resist would. So, do we want a little bit of extra damage and half a crit, or do we want that 328 armor is really the question right here. They're both 150,000. It's a tough one. Since we wanted this to be able to handle MP10, I'm going to go with the armor. Ooh, man, I keep going back and forth as you can tell, but let's get that armor. It's really going to be helpful if we're going to try to survive an MP10. Now, of course, you wouldn't want to farm MP10 with the set we're building here. It's going to be really slow. I just wanted to kind of show how tanky you can really be just for 1,000,000 and still be able to farm MP3 or maybe even MP4 pretty efficiently. So now we're going to get some rings. We're going to take the budget down to 10%, which is going to be 100,000. I'm going to look for 4 crit chance and 7 attack speed. We only have a few, so we might have to compromise here because there are some other things we can get on rings. Both of these have good armor though, and they're not too pricey. But let's see. We do a little bit of compromising, maybe 3.5 crit. I don't want to lose too much crit there or too much attack speed. But we do that, now we have 4 pages, and we can maybe add something else on there. We're a little low on int because we don't have it on our weapon or our offhand, so let's see if we can get some of that. Of course, int on rings can be pretty pricey. You can see 73 intelligence on there, not bad. Let's see, maybe if we put average damage. Again, average damage, underrated. It's going to do the same thing as the average damage on like your offhand. You can kind of multiply it by 2 if you're going to have 2 attacks per second. See, a minimum damage, you get the full amount first. So 28 minimum damage is 28 average damage. Maximum damage is going to be split in half. So let's see, we get 28 minimum damage there, 6 attack speed, 4.5 crit. That's pretty nice. I don't think we're going to be able to get anything else on the ring other than the minimum damage. You can see we get a socket there. But it's unlikely we're going to find any stats on these rings unless someone accidentally underpriced one of the pieces they put up. See, we get 7 attack speed there, but only 3.5 crit. We're going to go ahead and take this first one here. It's 28 minimum damage. And then the other one, instead of prioritizing damage, we'll try to get some more defense. So instead of average damage, we'll look for maybe vitality or extra armor. If we do armor, let's see, we can get some of these that we saw before. Good amount of armor on almost all of these. Oh, this one actually has 15 all resist and 209 armor. That's pretty nice. We do lose 1 attack speed. And 15 all resist isn't that much, especially since these each have 50 of another resistance. Let's see how this compares to our vitality. Now we're not getting crit hit damage on these rings because it's just really hard to get trifecta rings for this budget, but we should be able to on our gloves. So we can get 67 vitality here. That's really a toss-up at this point if we want to go for the extra armor, if we want to get the vitality. We did get the 230 vitality on our offhand, so I think armor might be the way to go in this case. And let's see, we got... These two are pretty similar, and this one just has a little bit more armor, so but we do save 10,000 here. Ha ha ha. Let's go with the 90,000 one. We'll save the 10,000. It's not much, but in this case it is. It's 1% of our budget, and that can add up. So let's see what we're at so far. We started with this weapon right here. That's 50,000, 100,000 with the offhand, 250,000, and then these two are both about 100,000. Puts us up to about 450,000. We've spent almost half, but we have gotten most of the expensive pieces. The only other piece that I'd be really willing to spend a lot on is the gloves. So I'm going to put up to 150,000. I'm going to try not to spend that, but it just gives us the option to maybe find a really good deal because we really do want to get a trifecta. We're not going to be able to get more than 50 or 60% crit hit damage from that weapon. And so if we can just get a little bit from the gloves, it would be really nice. So I put 8 crit chance. We might lower that to 7.5. I like to try to get 1 page of results. I think that's a good amount to look through. Wow, a lot for 7.5. But we can get some with 8.5 here, 22% crit damage, 26% crit damage. That was nice for only 50,000. We're see if we can do better than that. But it's gonna be hard. Here we have 32 crit damage, but we lose a little bit of crit chance, and it costs 3 times as much. That right there is pretty nice, though. With 9 attack speed, ooh, that's going to be a toss-up because we get 3% attack speed there. Actually, I think this is my new favorite. It's going to be an easy way to get attack speed. That one's just a little bit pricey for what we get, the 150,000 one. Let's see how this compares. This one actually is better, but it's 100,000. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, do we want to spend the extra 28,000 there? Let's see. So we can get 9, 7.5, and 26, or 9, 7.5, and 22. Everything else is pretty much the same. We get a little bit of poison resist here, but it's 4 crit hit damage is really what we're looking at, and I think it's a significant price difference. I'm going to go with the 72,000 ones. So go ahead and grab those gloves. We're doing pretty good on price so far, and we've gotten pretty much all the pieces that we need certain stats on out of the way. We're going to get some bracers next because we can get some crit on there, and then we'll look at the helm, and we might actually try to get a storm crow. It's going to make us a little low on crit, but it might be worth it to get that life on hit. But we'll see what we can get. You can actually get some storm crows with all resist pretty cheap. But first we'll look at bracers. We're doing pretty good on armor, so I won't put that on there, but if we can get the armor, we will. People really underprice armor. We really need some intelligence. Vitality we're looking pretty good on after that offhand with the 230. So let's see if we get maybe 90 intelligence on there, and I'll just look maybe 68 all resist. We do have a few here. This one's only 10,000. Good opportunity to save some money. We're not getting too much for our 10,000, but it's just a great price. I don't think we're going to beat that for oh, here we go, 5.5 crit. We only get 70 intelligence with 76 all resist. That's pretty nice. We can even get some with 6 crit, it looks like. Oh, and I didn't want to keep this at 150. I'm going to take this down to 100. And after this, we'll probably just leave it at 80,000 for the rest of our pieces because we don't need to get some of those higher stats. And actually, if we could get 6 crit chance, that would put us in a good place. 77 intelligence, or oh, here we lose 5 all resist, and a little bit of armor on just natural armor. That 6 crit is really nice. Let's see if we can drop down to 5.5 crit, if we can find any other good deals. 88 intelligence, 74 all resist. Here we get a little bit of vitality too, and I think we might go with these ones. They're 100,000. But the total stat points is 113. That's pretty good. And I tend to just add up intelligence and vitality because if you end up being a little low on one, you can just buy gems for that stat, of course. But we get 74 all resist. The armor, although, that armor is pretty low. Oh, this is going to be a hard one. These ones right here, they're keep coming back to them. These are only 50,000. Actually, let's do these. For 50,000, we get a lot for that. So we haven't found any like amazing steals yet. These are pretty average, which might be good for this video because it shows you what you're probably going to see if you just go on the auction house and make a set real fast. Every once in a while, you get a huge steal. You get really lucky, and you can make really good set. Normally, you'd take longer to look through the pieces. you wouldn't kind of rush through it like we are now. Let me remind myself how much life on hit we have from the weapon we got. We have 525. You really want to get up to 800 life on hit. That's leaving us a little low. Whew, it's going to be hard losing that crit, but we might have enough crit elsewhere to make up for it. So let's look at Stormcrows with all resist. You can usually get a good one for under 100k. We won't say how much all resist, we'll just leave that on there. And because everyone wants crit on Stormcrow, you can get other things for pretty cheap. So we can get 57 all resist, but the life on hit's a little low. But it doesn't look like it's going to be worth losing any more than that to get more life on hit. So I think grabbing the 57 one is going to be the way to go. And that'll get us up to over 900 life on hit, which will make us just fine for life on hit. And we'll be a little low on crit, but eventually whoever had the set could upgrade it to get a little bit more crit on their gear. So let's do a tally real quick, see what we still have left. We have shoulders, chest, belt, pants, and boot. So, and let's see how much we've spent so far. Just one more quick tally. Should be keeping track of this better. So it's 100,000 with our weapon offhand, then 250,000, 300, 450,000, 520,000, 570, and 670. It's actually 660 because I counted that 90,000, 100,000. So 660,000. We have 340,000 left, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces left. So we're going to lower this to 80,000 for the rest of the pieces. That should keep us within our budget, and then we just have to make sure we save enough for those gems. And we'll start with shoulders. So shoulders, I like to try to get some life percent. You can usually get some pretty good deals with life percent just because it is undervalued. But keep in mind, if you have 35,000 health, then 1 point of life percent is going to be like 10 vitality. And usually 35,000 health is about where we're shooting for. We might be a little under that in this set just because we have such a low budget. We'll put some vitality, life percent, intelligence on there. We're going to try to get 90 intelligence and at least 69 all resist. Normally we'd put a little bit higher, but of course we're on a budget. And these are all pretty cheap, so let's see. That's 179 strength, which is pretty nice because we get that extra armor. Vitality is really low, 6% attack speed. Let's see what else we can get. 9%. So if we'll just count the 9 as 10. That gives us 160 vitality, and if you add that with the intelligence, we're getting 250 stat points total. Here, we're getting this one just doesn't make sense when compared to this one, of course. But this one here, the stat points we're getting are only 87 plus 96, which is about 183. So we're losing 64 stat points somewhere around there. And some resist. It's really not worth the vitality we lose. So we're going to go ahead and grab these for 50,000. I think that's a pretty good deal on our shoulders. And that puts us at 290,000 we have left to spend. 290. And I say about 200,000 because we're going to need that 90,000 for some gems. So after shoulders, we'll look for, let's see, chest armor. Chest armor, I like to look for 2-socket chests because you can usually find some deals. You might even want to look for some with 1 or no sockets. Everyone's looking for 3 sockets, so usually the other ones can get underpriced. I'll take life percent off there. Let's see if we can get 90 int, 90 vite, and 69 all reset. It doesn't look like we can. Let's maybe bring down to 1 socket, see if there's anything up. And we'll take off the sockets, see what we have to work with. So again, I'm just going to add up int and vite. We don't have a whole lot of sockets, so we're going to have to be pretty careful to make sure we don't undervalue one of these. And it looks like this right here would be our best pick. It's almost 80,000 though. So let's see, let's lower these down a little bit to 70 and 70. That's going to open up a lot. And let's see. And let's see if we can maybe get 120 intelligence on there. No. But maybe 100. It opens up for just 1 there. That's one of the ones we were looking at before, unfortunately. Okay, let's drop it down to 70, and we'll just say has sockets. We're trying to find about 1 page of results because you want enough that you can look through and make sure you find a good deal, but not so much that we're going to take forever looking through it. That's actually a really nice one right there. Yeah, much better than the other ones we're looking for. We just didn't see it because it's 89 intelligence. We looked for 90, but That one might be the one. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat that compared to what we've seen so far. 187 vitality, 76. Ooh, that's a close one, but it's 80,000 and the other one's only 50,000. So I think we lean towards getting that other one. But you can see some of these pieces that used to be really expensive are now much cheaper. Here, see, we get a little bit of armor, lose a substantial amount of all resist, but more stat points overall. And so it's still only 50,000. So I think that actually might be the new front runner. And ooh, man, a lot of good ones. Only 70 all resist, but we have 5% life on there, which is really nice for getting our vitality up. It's only 50,000. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and get it. Okay, so then we're gonna get we'll get pants next. And I'd like to get more armor than we have so far. See, maybe we can find some with extra armor. This one has great armor. Stats are a little low, 77, 71. We have one socket. We have see, 70 int, 106 byte, 230 armor, and that one's only 22,000. So I think that's the new front runner there. Again, I'm just kind of adding up the int and byte real quick. Here we get 153 byte. The armor is a little bit lower. I'd like to get extra armor, but getting 153 byte on there would be really nice. 76 all resist is not bad at all, and those are only 40,000. Let's see if we can find any other gems before we go ahead and... We do have 3 pages here, so maybe we'll... Oh, wow. 180 byte. Pants does seem to be a really easy place to get some vitality. Let's just turn up the vitality to 140. See, I know we're going to eliminate a lot there, but most of the ones we've been looking at had that crazy vitality on it. So here, we don't lose much going to these ones, and we get that 180 byte. It's really nice. 194 byte here, but we do spend a bit more, and we lose some all resist. So let's go ahead and go with these 50,000 ones. We're going to be pretty good on byte now. We're extremely low on intelligence, so that's going to be what we prioritize on our last few pieces. Of course, that's something you can get up later. I really think first you need to get utility. You need to get your crit chance, your attack speed, your APOC, to just get the build working. If it's not working, you can't do anything. Once you get the build working, then you can worry about defense, because if you're not staying alive, you're not killing anything. Once you have the build working and you're staying alive, then worry about offense. So you see, we're not prioritizing intelligence or crit hit damage too much, because we really need to make sure the build's going to work and we're not going to die. And then once you start upgrading it, you could add on some of the other things. So I'm just going to leave vitality blank. Of course, we can't have sockets on belt. I'm not sure why it lets us keep it there. We'll do 90 intelligence, and that gives us a fair amount of results here. This one has 106 strength, so it's giving us some bonus armor. It's only 10,000, but something tells me we're going to be able to get more stats than that. 94 and 80. Let's see, 91. Actually, maybe not. We might go with that one just to get that armor. This has 219 strength, but it doesn't have the bonus armor, so it's just not... Oh, but it does have 7% life. Now, again, we don't really need any more vitality at this point. We should be fine, but it doesn't hurt. So it's like having 120 byte on there, and those are only 30,000. Of course, the ones at top are only 10,000. Let's see if there's anything else on here that's just a really good deal. Once you hit that 100 intelligence mark, it seems like it really takes a jump in price. So for 30,000, we're getting a total of 269 armor, only 69 all resist, but 120 byte, 94 int. For 10,000, oh, we just lose so much fight. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Let's get these for 30,000. And boots, we're going to try to get some firewalkers. For some reason, firewalkers are really cheap right now, especially if they don't have vitality on there. We can get some good all resist and some good intelligence. Surprised. Let's see. Just see what the cheapest firewalkers we can get are. Oh, wow, that's really surprised me. Actually, we got some just yesterday for under 100,000, but it doesn't look like they're that cheap right now. So we'll go ahead and just get some regular boots with movement speed. I like to try looking for 11% movement speed because everyone wants 12, so these 11% get passed over and you can find some really good deals. So let's see, let's sort by intelligence because we're really low on intelligence. It'd be nice. Oh, I forgot to put the max buyout in there, like 282. Actually, I'm gonna do one final tally. I kind of lost track of where we were at. So let me just do a quick. We got 100,000, 250, 350, 440, 510, 560, 660, 710, 760, 810, 840. So we have 160 to spend, and we do need to get some gems. So we're gonna try not. I'd really not like to spend 100,000. Actually, these aren't too bad. For 10,000, I'm gonna get 72 all resist, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get over 100 int anyways. And if we get this, we could have a lot more to spend on gems. Again, we're gonna be really low on int overall, but it'll be okay for now. You know, and get the int later. So we'll buy those, and I think that's our full set. Now I'm not gonna buy the gems yet because I want to see what our vitality's at to see if we do need vit gems. I don't think we will, but we'll see. And it gives us 130,000 to spend on gems now. Crit chance, attacks, or crit chance and intelligence are the things that are gonna be a little low, but I think we're still gonna have an okay build. You can see my wizard's already naked on MP10, ready to go. Go ahead and throw this stuff on and see what we want for our gem slots or our sockets. So I think, yeah, all this stuff's right here. Let's go ahead and put that in there. You can see I need to clear out my stash tab. We have a couple other crit mass sets that we've built in the past in here right now. Make sure I put on the right rings. And we're going to be giving those away. We give away a lot of gear sets on the channel. It's kind of fun to build them and then give them out. And those boots, where did those boots go? I really don't know. Could these be them? Yeah, here they are. Okay. So it puts we're else at 44,000. We have way more than enough health. Again, like 35,000 is a good mark to hit. Our damage is at 23,000. We're going to put a socket in there. It'll help a little bit. But again, it's just because our int is so low. You can see it's at 998 right now. We actually have more vitality than intelligence. Our all resists are looking good enough. They're about 600 to 700, just under 700. Crit chance with Scoundrel is 46.5, so it's 43.5 without it. Attacks per second is 2.13, so we did get over the 2 attacks per second mark. It's going to be a while before you can get to 2.3. We have the almost 900 life per hit, which is great. You want to get 800 starting out, and I think 1,000 is a good goal. Just go ahead and buy an emerald, and then it looks like we have, I think, just 2 other sockets to fill. Go ahead and leave this game. And we'll probably just fill the other 2 sockets with flawless squares if we can't afford anything better, because we want to get as good of an emerald as we can. I know we can't get a star, but maybe a radiant square. Let's see what they cost. Not quite. We can't quite get a... So unfortunately, we're going to have to go with 50% crit damage, which isn't going to give us much damage to work with, but we'll go ahead and buy this. And we'll just use flawless squares for the rest of them, and that'll... Actually, we'll be under 900,000 with this set. So we'll see if a set that's cost under 900,000 can handle an MP10 Elite Pack. Now, again, you would not want to actually play on... I must have forgot to send it to my stash. I apologize for that. You wouldn't actually want to play on MP10 with a set like this. It just wouldn't make sense. It's going to be ridiculously slow. I don't even know if we'll finish off an Elite Pack because it would make this video so long. But I wanted to show how much you really can get, and then we'll pop into MP3 and show you can actually farm pretty well with this set. You should be able to use Storm Armor and Shocking Aspect to get extra damage. So it puts us 27,000. Again, that's pretty low damage, of course, but it is a 900,000 set. And first you want to get the utility in your defense, and damage will come later. And we actually forgot to put those 2 int gems in our socket, so let's go back, grab those real quick. It might give us a little bit of extra damage. Go from 27,000 up to 29,000. So actually 2,000 damage increase just from those 2 gems. So you can see how easy it would be to get your damage up once you start adding int, average damage, crit hit damage, and we got our first elite pack right here, so this will be pretty nice. Jailer, Desecrate, Molten, Electrified. So you can see we're not going to be able to hurt them very much. You're going to go down very slowly. But what I wanted to show is that you can get the build working for under $1 million. So actually, the only time you might want to play on MP10 when you have a set that is this low of a budget is when you're playing with friends. Because you can still stun lock everything. You should still be able to stay alive pretty well, even though it's such a cheap set. You can see we're standing in Desecrate most of this time and still staying alive just fine. Quillbacks can be a little annoying if you let them get away, because the quills they shoot do a lot of damage. I don't think we'll fight this entire elite pack. I don't think we'll kill them because it would just take a long time, and that's not going to be a very entertaining video to watch. But I wanted to show you that we can stay alive just fine, even standing in Molten and Desecrate. We can stun lock just fine. The build works. And again, that's I think the priority you want to go with is first you want to get the build working. You want to get the utility, which means getting your crit chance above 40%, your attack speed well over 2 attacks per second, and your APOC at least 20 arcane power on crit. Once the build's working, then you worry about defense, staying alive, in whatever MP you want. You know, you could make this set not so defensive if you want to, if you only want to do the low MPs. But I'm just kind of demonstrating, if you wanted to be able to do MP10, you know, you have friends you play with, you want to be able to stun lock things for them and just stay alive, then this is kind of how you'd want to prioritize. We made a set yesterday and it actually had a bit more damage than this, but that's just because we got lucky. We were able to snipe some things and we had up to about 40,000 damage. But today was a pretty average day. You know, all the items we got were pretty run-of-the-mill. Nothing, no amazing deals. And that's really probably better for this video because it shows you an accurate depiction of what you might find going on the auction house right after you hit level 60 or just right when you start doing critical mass. And you see it would take us forever to kill this elite pack by ourselves. It just wouldn't be practical to farm MP10 with this set. But I think we can do MP3 just fine. MP2 or 3 would probably be where you would want to farm with this set. And you're not going to have to worry about dying on those MPs because you have enough defense and you might be able to get through it fairly easily. So let's just take this set over to, we'll just do MP2 just to make it a little bit easier. You see we can survive in any MP, so great that you can just hop in there with some friends. We'll do the same quest. And of course MP2 we're not going to need prismatic. I don't think I saw what prismatic brings our armor up to 4800, which is great, and our resistance is between 753 and 880, so that's really good resistances, and our armor is at 3600, which is awesome. You want at least 3000 armor. You can get over 3500, even better. Let's put on storm armor, shocking aspect. This is just a great way to add some extra damage. Hits enemies for 35% weapon damage every time you crit. And we'll go back to the same spot. We'll see if we have elite pack here. We do. It's nice. Let me see on MP2. We're gonna be really tanky, and we'll be able to kill fast enough that we could actually farm it just fine. Frozen pack here. Frozen has to be critical mass wizard's worst nightmare. You get frozen once, it could be GG. But with a set like this, you probably actually could survive a frozen just fine. But that's why I usually have teleport on my build. Not only does it let you get from pack to pack faster, it lets you get out of frozen and stuff like that. You see MP2 I think is about where you'd want to be with this set, and then for like 1 or 2 million you could really double or even triple the damage on this set. Well, triple would probably take more than that, but for a couple million you really could double the damage on this set. It'd just be about getting some more intelligence, a little bit more average damage, and a lot more crit hit damage. I mean, just getting a better gem in that weapon would make a big difference. And so, and getting a couple million gold once you have this set, it's going to be pretty easy. You can already farm MP2 a couple hours and you're going to be able to really get the damage you need from a set like this. So I kind of wanted to show you guys that you don't need a lot of money to do critical mass. I get a lot of people on my channel saying stuff like, you know, I can't afford critical mass yet, what build should I be using until I can? And I always tell them, if you can afford a gear set, you can afford critical mass. That's, I think, what you should start with. Now the Archon set you couldn't do so easily. Now we're going to land of the Splody guys. I'm horrible at fighting Splody guys, so we'll see how this goes. Archon, you need a lot of damage, the Archon build, to be able to stay in it and really have it working well, so it's not really a viable build to do right off the bat unless you have some money saved up. But crit mass I think is the way to go at first at least. See if I can I die way too much to these Splody guys. I have my Frost Nova up though. Oh, it looks like we might have gotten hit by one of them and we still only lost half of our health. That's pretty surprising actually. But yeah, just want to show you guys. This is how you'd build a crit mass set for under 1 million gold that could survive MP10 and farm MP2. Hopefully this will help you guys on what stats you need to prioritize when you're building a set, and maybe I'll make another video on how to build a more expensive set. But stop by the live stream sometime. We make sets on there all the time, and then we'll give them away after we build them. Or if people have money to build their own set, we'll usually make it for them right there on the stream. Of course, if you want to build the best set possible, and you're patient, you have some time, then don't rush through it like this. You want to really take your time, compare items, look over multiple days even if you have the time, snipe some of those really good deals, and look at bids. I'll usually go find a bunch of items that are bid only or have really low bids, mark when they're going to expire, and then try to snipe some deals there. And you could build a set that's twice as good if you really are patient and don't mind waiting a couple days. But we hope to see you over at the live stream. I hope this video helped. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends. Hope it can help them too. And I'll have another video for you soon. Thanks for watching, guys.